Please welcome back to the show one of our favorite people. He's the Chief Scientific Officer over at the Wellness Company, Dr. Peter McCullough. Dr. McCullough, how are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
It's always a pleasure to have you back on. Appreciate it. It's hard to believe we're still talking about new COVID variants, but I believe there's a new COVID variant. This one, I guess, targeting the throat. They're calling it the razor blade throat variant. Man, oh man, I tell you, it's hard to figure, but tell us what we need to know about this one, if anything.
What do they come up with next? Razor blade sore throat. It sounds like you guys have been taking shots of tequila over there. I mean, it's a sore throat. I've seen patients who've had the most recent variant. It's called Nimbus 1.8.1, about 37% of cases. Very responsive, by the way, to ivermectin. I mean, can clear it up very quickly within a day or so. So I'm not worried about it at all.
Yeah. To be serious for a second, it does feel somewhat coincidental that, you've got RFK. He's talking about cover-ups that he's finding. You're talking about less vaccines. It seems like trust in vaccines is at an all-time low. Is this somewhat of a scare tactic? Do pharmaceutical companies obviously want to use scare tactics to try to boost bottom-line revenues and kind of bring people back in? Is that something that they try to do?
Well, our public health agencies are doing it. So around the time they came out with the razor blade sore throat campaign, there was an announcement that the FDA approved more boosters for the fall. And the boosters are against the long extinct J.1 variant. The JN variant has no chance of working whatsoever. America is not taking the boosters. Sadly, our government is blowing money on them and then pouring them down the drain.
Kind of to that point, I think a lot of us have been in this, what I'm about to ask you, for a long time. But, COVID is just something now that we're going to have to think of as the flu, obviously. Most of us have been there, have figured this is, we're going to live with it. Well, this is how we're going to deal with it, whether we take ivermectin once every couple weeks just to have it in our system prophylactically or whatever. How do people prepare, maybe older people who skew a little older, my parents' age? What should they do to prepare to live with COVID and prepare for it in case they do get it, just kind of like what we do with the flu when obviously we don't want to take the flu shot?
That's a good question. There are now over-the-counter home flu and COVID tests. The Wellness Company Emergency Contagion Kit has treatment for COVID and treatment for influenza. So if you know what you have, you can start treatment right away. So the Wellness Company has these kits. If you start treatment on the very first day, the very first night of symptoms, can clear up very quickly. You wait to 3 or 4 days into it, it's a different story.
When I first learned about ivermectin, I think it was an actually congressional testimony, and I forgot who the doctor was that was swearing by it. This is a very long time ago, right into the beginning of COVID. But one of the first things I remember hearing about it, besides all the horse stuff, was that it used to treat lice and for parasites. And I remember hearing that was one of the first things I heard about. And now you're hearing more about parasites, when before I don't feel like I ever paid any attention to parasites and just figured it's something you deal with. But people who eat a lot of fish and sushi and things like that, parasites can become a problem. What do you recommend to avoid parasites or to flush or make sure you don't have anything going on that you shouldn't?
I know some of you guys on the panel have gone to a restaurant and it says in a little asterisk at the bottom, it says, warning, eating uncooked seafood can be dangerous. They're talking about eating spores or little parasite spores. You can get them from your dogs, your cats, drinking stream water. And the CDC calls them NPIs, or neglected parasitic infections. They're hard to diagnose, but people with kind of generalized symptoms, especially abdominal cramping, weight loss, night sweats, it's a reasonable chance that they have one of these parasitic infections. Wellness Company has a combination, ivermectin, mebendazole. It's very, very effective. So if you go to the Wellness Company and review it with one of the doctors there, you can get that prescription right away and then, in a sense, end this concern about having a chronic parasitic infection.
TWC.health/voice is the place to go, TWC.health/voice. Finally, I want to ask you, I mentioned RFK Jr. before. He came out this week and said the CDC covered up an internal study which found 1,135% increase in autism risk from the hepatitis B vaccine. Have you heard about this? And do you have any thoughts about this?
our CDC report on autism that came out this year from 2022 data is a disaster. There's an autism epidemic. 3.2% of kids have it. 5% of kids in California. 27% of them have severe autism. IQ less than 55, head banging, not verbally communicating, wearing diapers. They'll never be able to manage themselves the rest of their lives. Autism is a big epidemic. And if it's linked to vaccines in any way, we need the truth. I'm all for an all-out investigation. It may be some combination of vaccines given together where it's a risk factor for autism, but we have to do something or autism is going to be an existential threat to the next generation.
Yeah, I can remember reading David Kirby's book, Evidence of Harm, in the 1990s about thimerosal and the link to all of this back then. And here we are, 2025, still finding things like this. So, again, you can go to twc.health/voice, twc.health/voice, promo code VOICE over at our good friends at the Wellness Company. Dr. McCullough, always appreciate a few moments of your time.
Thank you.
Dr. Peter McCullough right here live from Studio 6B on a Monday night.